guys for the flip after there. Please.
Gotcha, copy.
I can take one. Do not. Oh, you're fine. Is it Tom?
For the most part, not really. Sorry.
Basically, you get the, okay.
I know it's two different centers. We're due at 9, so.
Yeah, the guy came up here with one, we sent him down. Is he gonna open there tonight?
Yeah, that's what I was here.
Oh, yeah, but, just glad that you got.
Last minute
Oh, yeah. We're getting those on the, small one. I'm sure that's right. Well, we put dumpers on the road. What's going out? Can't go over there.
Yeah.
This figure, I won't be able to get something else. Not the balance. And I'll just say here. Somebody says we're gonna get out, I won't go anything for the first year or so. You're not gonna be my.
I remember.
I don't know yet. Must be the flu. Hey, it's 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, call meeting in order.
Motion to approve the agenda.
For a second. Second. Motion made to the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. We have it. Minutes from February 14th. Move to approve. For a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
But the question, true, that should change, so.
Yeah. Motion, minutes are approved. Communications.
Yeah, the one thing, I think we should put the minutes that John's absent due to attending mental health board meeting. And he's on Christmas not
Gone.
gone. We had the, union negotiations on Tuesday. Didn't last a long time because we told them that we've got 3% budgeted and that's all there is. It's like not even 3.1%.
Yeah, it's.
Well, you got 3% budgeted and that's all there is and with the new cost of living was 1.35, so. And that's all we would have had to was given the non-law enforcement ones cost of living.
I really think they should be chewing that guy out.
Pointed it out. And I showed him the letters we got last year, and this, we weren't even open last year, he sent us letters. Well, I'll check with the front office.
You should have checked the front office when we first started contacting you.
So I said we weren't even under obligation to anything, but we weren't gonna do that to our employees. We shouldn't have to start the conversation. Well, we did, also,
Not officially.
like one of the employees brought up cost of living was 3.5%. Mike Galloway's not told you bring that up because he probably checks every morning.
Yeah, I don't know where he came up with 3.5, that's phenomenal.
Galloway,
Gave
it's
us
just something he knows.
some weird numbers of raises that we given that we had.
And other than that, we had a conference board, you guys were all there. Oh, yeah. I had to chair the conference board because the chairman and vice chairman didn't show up. And nobody else wanted to. I made sure there was no objection. They also wanted to do it.
That anything changed, did it?
No, it was about a 10-minute meeting.
Yeah.
But we did have a nice quorum, we had 3 mayors, 4 school board members, I think.
Wow.
Three supervisors, so.
We're getting a pretty good turnout all the time now, really.
Yeah, the last couple of years, school boards were turning out a lot better.
Yeah, it used to be, still would be one.
I don't think she thought, when I got there, she didn't think there was gonna be that many there, but she thought it was just enough for a quorum, but worked out.
We did approve, sometimes she's going to a optometry conference out of state. But she thought it was, they told her it was this year in March, and she said she couldn't go in March. But then she looked and it's free, it's with our contract with optometry, but she got 3 years to go, so she's probably gonna go next year, but we approved it now, so it's approved.
But I like the fact she asked.
No,
In the past, we've been told.
it, other than that, everything's about the same in her office as the last time we met, so.
There's a deal there that's, I don't understand what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, she doesn't really.
It's like this, this. So I understand that's how we're gonna, it's in a bad spot.
That's all I had for the week.
I didn't do it.
I had 3 things. One was actually last week, mentioned it since I wasn't here last week, Friday. Iowa workforce development, kind of as predicted, is turning into quite a project. We're gonna meet every 2 weeks, either in person or by phone. We did a phone conference, we're gonna meet in Iowa City in a couple of weeks. So we set a schedule for meetings for the next 2 months, flowing all the way down to the Department of Labor, just reorganization, certain criteria they have to meet, even if we keep all the districts the same as they are now. They may still be combined in the future, but we gotta get our act together to meet all the requirements first. We have to have a fiscal year by July 1st. We don't know for sure, but it looks like Johnson County is still interested in doing that. And the good news is, we thought we had to have everything they wanted done in 2 or 3 months, but now it looks like it's possible to get extensions like Kirkwood working with them on adult new programs, maybe as late as December. So we probably have more time to get things done. We just have to file. And they're starting to get to the point where they're comparing the current board of Iowa workforce development for this area with what the requirements are. There's all these things, male, female, political, jobs, what you got. And what they've identified so far, if anybody has any recommendations, is 2 theoretical individuals, I don't know what else to call them. One is a male businessman, Republican. Can you believe that? They probably have to have all these criteria. The other one is a Democrat female that's involved with labor or labor unions. So they've compared who they have on their board with all the requirements, and that's the 2.
So you can estimate it's better somewhere else, but you can't take it because you need that.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
Be one of the things, the problem is there may even be, people on the board right now that don't meet the qualifications, not renew, or what you call it. so. And we're looking at getting some staff, yes, fiscal year budget to hire some staff. There's just a lot involved in meeting some criteria so that the money for workforce development does not get cut off sometime this year. And that's a whole other story if we want to combine the districts or which we'll consider. Went to the Economic Commission, not a whole lot happened there. Early childhood Iowa development paper presentation. They're looking at how they can improve getting more childcare workers in Iowa County surrounding areas. And this is the part I didn't understand. They said there was a committee meeting to still look at the idea of, I should have asked, a full-time economic development person for the county. And I don't know who's on the committee. I know it was discussed before, kind of happened. And then,
You didn't get invited to the meeting? It's not,
it's not on Monday for Williamsburg.
yeah,
Maybe that's what she's
I
talking
think that's what she's talking
Okay, and that could end up being a combination of Williamsburg and other records. Maybe that's what it is. I went to the Veterans Commission last week. She continues to be very busy, 179 veterans contacts. We're just working with her a little bit on how she breaks out the contacts and who they are, if she considers the new person to be a person she's never worked with before, or if a new contact is a new thing she files on is for somebody she's already worked with. So we're trying to work on how the statistics should work, but she continues to grow. All of her activity get busier and busier, it kind of goes up the graph. More and more veterans are aware of it through the newspaper and other things. And then she's working on coordinating burial benefits, what the county will do and allow versus what the VA will allow. So she's kind of rewiring some forms and qualifications so that there's no duplication on that. There's a bit higher than 3,500 or something like that. So that was basically it. Workforce development.
What are we gonna do with economic development? What are we gonna do with that? State status quo.
Williamsburg is having, asked some potential partners to a meeting next week to discuss it. See if there's some interest in something different being started. I don't know.
You might guess.
Um,
Are we part of it?
yeah,
Yeah. Were you going on there?
Yeah.
I think it should be the
On Mondays, I mean, that's an evening meeting.
No, 7:30. City Hall.
So they wanted to have their own person.
Williamsburg,
Well, we want a county person.
it would be more of a,
Or we can partner. We tried that, but we never went to a successful.
no, yes, we've tried it, no, we've never been very successful. One of the biggest problems I think we had was it being a part-time position. Find a person qualified to want to do part-time. It's tough to do.
Isn't there one time you once that we just paid for? We should have.
We don't get another one, when he retired, I think he got remarried and, you know, he moved on with his life, so.
I found some people in the courthouse.
Oh, man. Little girls
They
are
didn't
all-
believe daddy really works.
Last time we saw her, it was a tough.
Yeah, she was.
Okay. Open forum, is there anything for open forum?
Oh, yeah. So because there's so much consternation regarding industrial wind turbines, this week I would ask you to at least just consider moratorium, like really just think about it, okay? You could even make like a pros and cons list. A list of pros of a moratorium and a list of cons. And then next week, you can take these lists and discuss it.
What's the pro? What do you see as the pro?
There's lots of pros.
What do you see as the biggest pro?
We'll talk about that next week. I want you guys to make the pros and cons list.
Well, no, for asking, you're the one that asks for this every week, you must have a reason, we just wondered what that
So the
was.
people of Iowa County can better understand what living with wind turbines is like before more come.
But it's not like wind turbines are new invention. They've been in Iowa for 30 years.
These ones are 600, no, right? 600 feet. That is the tallest and like all of Iowa. A lot different than 100-foot turbine. If you're not even allowed to discuss wind turbines.
Yes, I am.
No, you signed an easement. No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
And how does me signing easement keep me from discussing it?
It's in the rules.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest.
I'm not voting on anything.
Let's move on. I would
That
like
would be
to,
nice to move on instead of hearing this every week.
Is there-
Because there's only one thing that I can see that a moratorium would do. And that's an attempt to delay until some different supervisors are elected.
And why would,
And
and why would that be so bad?
I didn't say that, but let's be honest on what you're looking for, and that's what they're looking for. And that's all right.
Because we don't want wind turbines in Iowa County.
Any discussion about putting a moratorium for next week's agenda?
I'm not gonna be here, so no.
No, okay. Any other before?
Yeah, I have a request. I would like some more clear enunciation and using louder voices because we're recording this every week and it's put on YouTube and people are having trouble hearing and understanding what you're saying. And I would also like you to name the topic, name the stakeholders of whatever you do discuss so that people can understand because right now people can't hear because you do a lot of mumbling and then that causes problems and issues. And I know Nick got calls this week about that easement that a utility company asked for in Ladora. So I would just ask that you speak more clearly. Thank you.
Anything else?
I would just like to say one thing. I went to the State House last week and met with my legislators. And during the discussion, it was brought up that at the time the ordinance was passed last year, that the chairperson of the supervisors and him and his family had signed easements. And the legislator said, well, the minute he signed an easement, he should immediately recuse himself from any votes and any further discussion. That was his exact words. So as to whether or not, and obviously, Ray, you did discuss things. And, I don't know, but I know it's been brought up with the ombudsman and the state ombudsman said the same thing.
We have never heard from the state ombudsman, ever.
Never contacted us
He
at
has
all.
never, ever contacted any
Have
of
you
us.
contacted them?
No.
And asked
And we know many complaints about us have been filed to them, but yet they have never contacted us. So they must not take much stock in them.
Well, apparently the state
And secondly, apparently the
legislature does.
Well, the legislature is not even addressing windmills this year now, so
I'm just relaying my discussion, what was said.
legislators want nothing to do with windmills. I think they made that pretty clear.
The
The
purpose-
session's not over, you can't say that.
The funnel was today, and there was no windmill bill except one on taxation. Everything else is gone. And only one other bill was even introduced. So, and that
There's
was
more than
the,
one bill introduced, there were 4.
but none survived in the funnel.
Yeah, I'm just saying there were 4 though.
Only one got anywhere and it is dead now, so.
Anything else?
Which is the goal, that was the goal for a lot of us, so.
I would love for the legislature to take action on it. I don't think you're gonna see it ever.
Okay, Nick.
Good morning.
Thanks, Steve.
And we have our rock maps that are done. Well, they are 95% done. Me and Slay have not been in the same room together for a couple days since they were finalized. So I know he's got a couple areas that he wanted to make sure were on the list, and he's not seen the final, but what you're looking at here is what was submitted by the graders. And it's not been reviewed yet to make sure that I have everything correct, but figured the sooner I got it, the better.
Do the districts tend to stay the same from year to year? Do the district boundaries themselves change, or how does?
No, the district boundaries stay the same.
It's just within each one gets identified.
Yeah, so every motor grader has approximately 71, 72 miles of gravel. And so this year, everybody gets a little bit different amount of rock, kind of according to their mileage and the cars in their district, the cars. And then the two guys that have the Amana colonies, they get a couple extra miles too. So that's why under each name and district.
So we'll be doing for one district.
Yeah, he also gets 1,000 tons down there in Parnell too, so. He's been getting that for years. We are looking, trying to get a bigger place to stockpile rock in Parnell. I talked with Slay a couple times. We have some ideas, so we're trying to talk to the landowners and stuff, something a little bit closer than 5 miles away in the middle of the one district. But, so that is in the works when we start going. How far it's gonna go, I don't know, but, well, yeah, it depends if the landowners will, let us put a stockpile or have an easement from them. But these are the maps that so the graders, they write their own maps on where they get the gravel. Everybody gets about, it's roughly what, a third of the district. 250 tons a mile. So, we do need signatures. I do have a final pay voucher for HMA resurfacing project 84. It might be the Blairstown Road, I'm not think. But final pay voucher, so I need signatures. What's that?
I think it's that, right?
I believe so.
I didn't get it, it's all electronic now.
No, you can, well, they're going that way, but, for signatures, I think as long as you put, as long as I get a signature, I don't.
Like move to approve the final pay voucher and authorize the vice chair to sign.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It passes.
And this is the final, so it's every page. I do have a video, 2 quick ones that are each like a minute. Do you guys want to watch them, or? Sure. We got the tanker car put in yesterday.
On the other side.
Turn it on or-
My LG is on the right, the button.
Right,
Of the TV.
the power button.
Can you just send your daughter up there?
She'll have some.
There it is.
Don't answer your house. Are we missing a couple kids?
Just one more.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
this the youngest one or the
This
oldest?
is the oldest. This is the 4-year-old, yep. This is Alex. So sweet. You were here when you were there.
Yeah, it's very little and it's very grainy. Okay. I tried to send it over in an email, but it wouldn't,
Wait, loading.
I might have a picture of it.
You go out and watch it?
But I was there after the fact. I didn't know they just put it in yesterday.
no videos. Videos there today.
Yeah.
Teach my that stop safety. Well, maybe not. Well. It's kind of neat. We rolled a big tanker car into the hole.
Did they have the whole week ready for it?
Yep.
I've got a picture of it.
Yep.
We were in Victory yesterday, we went that way home.
Yep, they brought the tanker car in on a semi and we pulled it up to the intersection and the backhoe pushed it off and it went boom, boom, plop.
Just like
First try?
Yeah, right down the hill into the hole,
So
so.
like a non-school.
Yeah, maybe sometime we can figure out how to, I can get it on something else and get it up there. But, yeah, so that's in and they're hauling backfill, some dirt out there today. And then we'll do some rock over top of it. And, should be a couple weeks and we'll have it back open, so. We've had a crew doing that. Crew was out cold patching some spots today. A lot of rock has been delivered this week. Done, and then some spot rocking. The windmills have been bringing rock out to 210th Street and 190th, 220th and 190th. So they've been putting down rock there. We have a motor grader out there helping spread it. We'll send them an invoice for our time on the motor grader. But yeah, so that's going well. That's happy that they could, do that. As far as our office goes, we've been kind of short-staffed, but have been doing a bunch of stuff in Doc Express, getting everything signed. We will probably have another final pay voucher next week, I believe. The total patching machine is here. Trying to order some backup parts before we need them. Get a spot up on the shelf for all the equipment for that thing. And we'll have them come out and do the training in a couple weeks when it warms up a little bit. We have to have the oil here first, so,
So how many people do you train? Everybody to run it or?
we're gonna have everybody here. Yeah.
I see H. Evans got several places marked this morning with pink.
Yeah, and since I wasn't here yesterday, I know there's a crew out coal patching. I don't know if they're doing that or if they're marking the concrete patching. Cause I wanted them to do that too, so I'm not quite for sure which one they're doing today, what Slade told them yesterday before he was gone, whether, I think that they're marking them up for, PCC patching, not coal patching, which they wouldn't have needed to done, like they could just do a rough estimate, but maybe they're gonna mark them up and he's gonna double check too, so. But yeah, the sooner we get those in, I'm hoping that by next week I can send out for bids for that because, the sooner the better. You can get on the list of those concrete patchers. So, and we'll send out these rock bids next week too. I forgot to kind of tell you, this is all preliminary. I'm not quite sure how the bids will come back. Now that there's kind of a little bit more of a monopoly on the prices or the quarries. But this is the same quantity as we estimated last year too, so. We did do a couple more performance reviews. We'll do a couple more next week on the rock maps. Yeah, that's mostly what we've been doing this week. It's kind of just short staff, so a lot of paperwork and getting the holes ready and maps and things sent out normal. Also, I will not be here March 6th. That's the asphalt conference. I'll be speaking to the Farm Service Bureau on the 2nd. There's a windmill meeting on the 10th that I'll attend. But I won't be here the 6th.
Okay, so then since I missed last week, so the contracts are signed for the bridge and Keswick Road, there's no indication when they want to start or anything. You have late start dates, we don't.
Yeah, correct. So everything is signed, now the next step is to have the pre-con. The bridge pre-con, they called already and they want to do that, I think, March 12th.
Is that a good sign?
Yeah, that means that they're getting on us, that means they probably want to go, I would assume. Of course, whoever did that last year, then said that they wouldn't come in until late, but.
I can let Monsanto, I guess, Bayer, or whoever know, because they gotta take that route. But that road's gonna probably get closed this summer.
At some point, yeah, I mean, we'll know more after the 12th.
The Keswick Road,
We just signed the contracts on Tuesday, so we haven't heard from Norris yet, and we haven't got a hold of them either.
did you get a new hire then?
Not yet. The 3rd, everybody's gonna have applications in by the 3rd, which I thought, okay, maybe they'd slow down, but we're still getting quite a few of them.
Just to make, how many do you have?
15,
15?
16?
Should have a good, hopefully a good selection.
I think so. So that is really all I have.
Any other questions for Nick?
Now, did you say hi? You hiding?
Okay, so I wait there and I scooped her.
Imagine that.
It's so good. So good.
You can tell them all, what grade are you in?
Don't be shy.
She doesn't have school today, parent teacher conferences or something like that. So they're at the courthouse getting new licenses. Could come on over.
Exactly.
Kindergarten roundup next week. For kindergarten.
From being
I
kindergarten.
was gonna say, getting a preschool conference, that can't be bad.
No, she-
Well, I suppose it could be, but.
I thought they were gonna say that she talks too much, but she said she's pretty quiet. So
When the meter on her phone, she let loose.
she probably says like 10,000 words a day.
Stop talking about me,
Well, that's all I have. Once we get the truck driver stuff too, I'll bring you guys some bigger maps of, who's the grader in each district and the truck driver. I guess I can do the grader one right now, but I'll get all
Did
that.
everything around pretty much.
No, just, Harley's out, Johnny's in.
Well, they said I almost like it.
No, no.
That's right.
Yeah, that's, no, all that stuff kind of stayed the same.
And you and Matt will be gone on the 6th, right?
Yes. And I don't feel safe sending anybody else over. That's actually in Disney World, Disneyland this week.
Wow.
Stays down in Florida.
It's nice and warm down there too.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll get you all this stuff.
We have that license transfer for that.
Where's the shot?
Sorry, they all are.
Your second,
So,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Motion passed to approve, transfer the liquor license. Appropriations. Claims that come down. Minimum tax payments that come down. We don't budget.
Nothing to do unless you guys have any questions.
We're in a short recess then until Robbie shows up at 9:45.
What was the liquor license transfer? I wasn't paying attention, sorry.
It's
Now it's transferring.
to the Millwright Event Center.
The what?
The Millwright Event Center?
Millwright?
I think it's that new hotel,
Hotel.
Okay.
I think,
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's what it was called, sorry.
the Woolen Mill.
It was called Millwright.
In the news, it said they started this last year. I remember that was last year.
Transferring it to who? Different
I mean,
owner
the
or something?
society is transferring it to Millwright Event Center
Oh, okay.
for an event that they're having.
They transfer their licenses around a lot,
No.
different stuff.
They got one on wheels.
I get it. Slow news day, so I thought maybe I had to stick it in.
This is a lot easier to have one to move around than to have a whole bunch of them.
It may be a big news day later, because hopefully we're gonna have somebody start working our levy sound.
Oh. For very, very low price.
Got 2 minutes, so.
Oh, that's good to know.
And not poke a hole in it.
That's right, that's right. Actually, that's what they're gonna do, that's the interesting part.
They dig behind it, which is supposed to strengthen it, which
I,
I'm not an engineer, I'm
I
supposed
can't
to.
logically read it.
That's like, it's a bad thing.
Spent 9 years of my life with an engineer and I still don't get it.
There's a couple of streets in Jerry Williamsburg, I go, really, you got a degree for that? Back by the high school, you remember that? By the tennis courts, really, you couldn't line that street up any better than that? No, it went up, and then tennis courts, that's pavement, and then the asphalts.
Oh.
You got a laser?
I've actually driven on that road quite a bit. That leads down to Kirkwood, right?
Right.
I used to drive the kid over there all the time. So funny story, my keys ended up in Williamsburg this week.
Without you?
I left the Marengo City Council last week, Wednesday, keyed into the front of my building, and my neighbor showed up. So, I just assumed that I left my keys downstairs in my studio. And then 2 days ago, I got a call from Nicole at the gym, at the rec center. She's like, Marengo has your, or Williamsburg City Hall has your keys. I was like, what?
Your name on?
No, but I have a little rec center.
Oh, they scanned.
Oh, well, that was
Yeah.
lucky.
It has a post office box and everything on it.
Oh,
Yeah, where do you leave your keys?
You know what, I got all the way over there yesterday and I'm like, crap, why didn't I just tell Ray to bring them?
I was gonna offer, but I figured you'd probably.
I probably would have had it.
Tuesday, you had that on Facebook, and the last one was till Friday.
one key change.
I totally didn't even think about it until like yesterday. I was literally walking in the door and I saw police department. I was like, oh.
But I was sure it was.
Yeah, whatever. They had a nice trip, I guess, but. So how did they get, did you leave them at the rec center? No, I don't, I'm not sure my building.
Right, we sure.
That's what I was. And then
Last
somebody
week was short.
picked
I
them
just
up,
saw it leaving.
and then sent them to
You like big
Williamsburg.
crowds or? You like big crowds?
That's really interesting.
You need a hard copy.
Could they just left them there?
Emailed out till this
You know
morning.
what? Next one to the Ringo City Hall? Yeah,
Right.
I was walking in parts of the day, on the fountain, there was a cell phone. It was a nice, kids were just parking and stuff.
Adam Robbins back in, we'll call a meeting back.
It's like, you know what, someone's gonna backtrack. They came back down and went, and they came back later and it was gone, so I assumed it was right. Came back, I had that same. Yeah, that always happens to me if I leave mine at Target or something, I'm like, why didn't you just leave it there? I knew where I put it down.
Hey, Susie, can we go ahead and start again?
Geez, I thought you were gonna be on the break till
Yeah.
9:45.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
All right, I want to go ahead and give my February EMS report. December, we had January, we had 138 calls, for December, 142. 113 were billable, and 25 were recusals. For the year-to-date, we're averaging 138.57 dispatch calls, 112.57 billable, and 26 recusals, so we're ahead of last year's average, pretty good there. Financial report, January actual expenses, $111,136, compared to a monthly budget of $131,126. Actual expenses for the year-to-date, $862,929, versus a budget of $917,882, so we are currently sitting $54,953 under budget. But we did budget for $140,000 carryover, so trying to get to that carryover number. January actual revenue, $71,059. Year-to-date revenue, $546,650, compared to budget revenue of $521,792. So revenue is over $24,858. We got $27,000 grant and $10,000 insurance payment in there, so we need that to get a little bit higher yet to be on track revenue wise. Year-to-date actual expenses versus year-to-date revenue, $316,279, versus a budgeted difference of $396,090. So we're on track. Things are going the right direction. AR balance, $289,810. That didn't change a whole lot. Gross days are up a couple days, 73.82. Year-to-date average charge, $1,071.47, compared to year-to-date average revenue
for transport, $639.59. Our current cost, just based on our direct expenses, is $889.62 per dispatch call, or $195.09 per transport. Any questions on the finances? Patient satisfaction, 98.67. We might have gained a couple tenths from last time.
So,
I think we gained a couple tenths from last time.
should I get a survey for that?
Did you get a survey? Oh, we only sent,
Send out.
10 surveys out.
Okay.
Postage is expensive, we can send more.
No, I didn't know if I was supposed to be speaking for once.
No, we just send 10 random
You
surveys.
had your bad. I'm ready to go.
You're worried about a bad one for me, so you said.
No, but it's random.
I don't ever seem to get them either.
It wouldn't be random then. Activities, I guess it's always in here, we try to attend the 5A monthly preparedness meetings. Deposit claims, scheduling, things in mid-machine collections. I did get notice from the pharmacy board that they are going to be doing inspections this year, so we did a full inventory of the machine, everything was in order, but I don't know if it's a announced visit or so they show up, so.
Wouldn't matter, would it?
No, it shouldn't matter, but other than my scheduling wise, it
Right.
matters most.
Say what? Shouldn't.
I'd like to be there when they show up, but no, everything was in order, everything's in order, so.
We never had an inspection by the pharmacy board.
No, yeah, actually, I would almost like to have one, so I know if there's anything we're missing. If we're probably doing more.
So that's just because we have the machines.
Yeah. So,
Which is good.
yeah,
No, yeah, it'd be good to have one, so you know.
yeah, we might be doing duplication of some inventory for like controlled substances, but better to make sure. Yeah. So I have it on the computer, but I also have hard copies. They're getting closer to getting these changes approved. The big thing was the affiliate thing with the smaller services, and we got all our services signed off on that. I think they're gonna change some of the way they do continuing education stuff. They changed some of the scope of practice, so advanced EMTs, which are in between EMT and paramedic, they can give some pain medication. The Narcan, everybody can get the Narcan now. Before it wasn't, you need the EMT scope, so they changed that. Might be a few other minor changes.
EMT scope for any police officer.
Yeah, but originally, whenever the governor, or the federal government says, oh, everybody needs Narcan, well, we don't have.
Everybody but you guys.
Yeah, we're not in our scope of practice, and law says we follow our scope of practice. So that stuff should be coming out, get approved, I would say, by July or so. Our monthly meeting topic was OB emergencies. Dr. Foltz taught that for us. Working on specifications for the new ambulance.
Will be as good as Johnson County's.
They already are as good.
I know, they sure got a lot of press on theirs being the best in the
Well,
state.
I gotta do that. We gotta work on,
Okay.
we gotta work on press.
That's
Give me
why
one of your sheets and I'll think about it.
When I read their stuff, I'm like, so what's this do that ours isn't?
Give me one of your sheets and I'll think about it.
There's nothing really on there. They had a CCRG or somebody.
Yeah, they had
But
several.
we've had like 5-point restraints the last 2 ambulances.
Just get in touch with
The
me.
power cot, yeah, we won't roll it, it'll be fall before we can do a press release or something like
Power cut, the best thing ever, in my opinion.
that. Yeah.
And we lifted a few very heavy ones before.
Yeah, it's great. I don't get to use that once in the backup, but it's nice when I do get to use it once in a while.
So will we have a power cut to back up soon?
Just as we go through the rotation.
Oh,
So it'll be another couple of years before we get one in the backup. Unless the rain, or not, Washington, America comes through the grant. So. I need to talk to Sarah a little bit more. See where they're at.
Is it too much for a community foundation grant or?
Well, we put it, I'm gonna get to that, we put in a community foundation grant to train 20 EMTs or not 20,
Good idea.
10 EMTs, it was $20,000. Our volunteers, So we could potentially, the year after that, it's about $40,000 for the power pack system, so it's not a lot. That's why we don't have it in the backup truck yet. That's for the cot, and I don't know, I suppose you're gonna have some extra money to have it installed and redone, because you're gonna have to do wiring and stuff.
So when we get the next two ambulance,
Ringo and Williamsburg each have a power cot,
now,
just Ringo now,
as power cut,
power load. They all four have power cots.
okay,
Ringo's is a power load, or loads itself, loads itself. So we already have power cots, those were, we already invested in those. So we do have some.
better than the old one.
Yeah. But yes, it's something we could look at, community foundation, maybe an off year, but this year we're gonna try and get to.
I don't know who's on the board anymore, but I still think.
Aaron is the chairman.
Josh.
Josh is, that's right, Josh is Aaron's. one.
I just
Josh
think it
appointed.
covers all of Iowa County where some of the other projects don't.
No, we put into it, we're hoping to get an EMT class in Williamsburg, this fall. We'll get our numbers up a little bit for that, hopefully, so. Kinsey's just gonna try to send some people to class. They're not, because they're down to like 45 first responders on there. I mean, they don't have a lot of calls, but they had 5 calls last year. Still, they like.
Are there first responders, EMTs, or just?
Most of, half of Kinsey's are, I think, but a lot of them aren't EMTs anymore. The benefit of the EMT, if they want to work on the ambulance, then they can have first responder in the back of the ambulance. They call them EMRs, first responder. They can't work in the back of the ambulance alone. So the EMT level, you can. A lot of them just want to do the EMT, that way if they ever want a job or volunteer on the ambulance, whatever, they can take care of patients. So specifications, communication with the Lifeline, or should have them spec probably next couple weeks, we should have.
Let's not order from Kansas City.
Yeah, no, get those specs figured out.
They probably still have some, maybe close the deal on, but
Hopefully, I didn't bring my timeline, I think. Try and have bids back for our April meeting with you guys. Or consider. So it's not, so it's late September, October, we can have it before it gets sold. EMS Day is our EMS Education Day. That's on March 7th. We'll have 8 hours of continued education in Williamsburg. Then bring that flyer with me. We have a couple positions coming out to teach. A couple other people coming out. One guy from Des Moines. So it should be real good. Good training. That's gonna be at the fire station's gonna host it there for us. Been doing a few high school job shadows. The 2 that did it wanted to come back and do some more, so we scheduled some more time for them. Jason did a presentation for Williamsburg Kiwanis. That's when I was in the hospital with Dad during that time, so I think that went pretty well. Found out a lot of people really don't know what we have, I think. So it's good.
I think a lot of people take for granted what we
Yeah.
have too.
Yeah.
Compared to what Powashik County's in kind of turmoil right now, trying to get.
I did see Washington County just hired an ambulance director, they hired the Johnson County assistant director.
So they gonna go county system like?
July 1st, 12:01 a.m. it said, on paper. So.
So a lot of people thought we were crazy when we did this.
And how many people have called this?
And yeah, I was gonna say, how many people have called wanting to know how we did this, because they want to do it.
They've been working with you on advice and setting up.
They did, Washington County did up until then they got to a point where they were ready
Ready to go.
But if they get the bill passed from ambulance can be an essential county purpose, then you see a lot of counties trying to find it.
Yeah. So that's still working, I think there's something still alive in there. I haven't checked.
And there is.
You guys probably check that more than I do. Inspections are coming up. We got state coming out to do our regular 3-year inspection on Tuesday. Kinsey's was supposed to be this last Tuesday, but the state guy was sick, so, but I did go out last Friday and did a pre-inspection meeting with, their safety director and went through their stuff to make sure they had everything in order, so. It was a good meeting. We talked about maybe doing a mock drill or something out there too at some time this year. Just get them some practice. Like I talked earlier, I did submit the grant earlier this week for the Community Foundation, hoping to use that to pay for EMT class, or even if we can get a foundation to pay for half of it, it would still help be less fundraising our first responder teams have to use.
Who's that run roughly?
I don't have a date yet, so, it's just over $2,000 a person, so I think the grant was $20,600.
Yeah, first responders can only make so many pancakes.
Yeah. And some of our teams are sitting better than others, you know. But, I think, like Williamsburg QRS is doing pretty well. They're actually gonna provide a meal for our EMS day. Because they're doing okay, but they wanted to do something, so they're probably about the only ones, that have enough money, really adequately. Equipment vehicles, normal service stuff, oil changes. We did get, new front tires on the 2016 Ford, and had to get new rear tires on the 2018 Ford last month. Last I checked on, replacing the Tahoe, getting a new SUV, they said it was currently scheduled for March, so.
When was this supposed to shut the first time?
November, I think.
We just don't need one.
Ford ran into a problem because they switched their, these SUVs to 20. And then they had a strike. And then a whole bunch got built wrong and they had to send them to another factory to be redone. And so police departments aren't getting them either. So right now,
The only thing we're gonna run into is we need to get this by the end of the fiscal year, otherwise Jessica's gonna want us to do some adjustments probably to the budget, I don't think. So,
but if you could get one today, you could get it into the equipment, put it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because the equipment install companies are all standing around too.
Waiting for all
And but they all know they're gonna get flooded soon, so.
We did have an incident with the 2016 Ford. It went into this limp mode on interstate. They got it pulled off, ended up restarting it, it worked fine. They sent the other ambulance on the call, took it into Cappers. It was Saturday morning. They looked at it right away. They ran it. Couldn't find anything wrong with it.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, so we used it, and we put it in backup status for the weekend, and Monday, they drove it, I don't know, 25, 30 miles, couldn't get it to do anything. It's been working fine since, so. But we did put it down, well, we did take it out of service, but don't use it unless you have to on the weekend, because nobody's over, so. But it's been fine since. We had all of our radios updated Wednesday. There was a firmware issue and they weren't picking anything up when they were scanning, which was kind of an issue because nobody would hear what the other units were doing on different events. So that fixed the problem. So Raycom took care of it. It was their fault. So apparently when
And they updated them recently.
they updated them in the fall. Apparently they screwed up. So
They screwed them all.
yeah. They took care of that. We had 3 pagers at Raycom. When I wrote this the other day, we got 2 back. They brought 2 back Wednesday. I've got to change that. So
What's going wrong with them?
these were, well, they said nothing was wrong with these. They weren't charging the battery. When charged the battery, they put it on the charger and for 2 days and said that they both charged. So I sent them back. They thought it might be the charging base, but I tried my charging base in the office after the employee gave it to me, so we'll see. Probably not charging very often, so I won't know for a month or 2 after they use some of the battery, when they go to charge it, it's gonna work. He did reprogram it to make sure It should take any rechargeable battery, but they put the brand of it in there. He said, I don't know if it'll make any difference, but it's like, so it matches with that battery. And we're using the brand that came with them, so. Our garage remote went bad for St. Luke's. At the same time, we realized we didn't have a remote in our backup truck here in Ringo, so I got 2 new remotes for St. Luke's. And I just ended up running down there and getting them from the emergency director or whatever. I don't know what the title is, but it wasn't a big deal. We got those. Personnel, Leah Coleman was one of our part-time employees. She's just finishing up orientation. He's going to fill Matt Levin's full-time position that he stepped down from last month. So basically, we're just going through like 1 month or 2 months here. Get it filled right away. And well, it went part-time, so he can fill the position that he is. That went like it's supposed to go. They all go that way. That's all I can do.
From my understanding, can I go back to this one thing? Sure. Earlier, I never quite understood, like, if the average charge for transport is $1,071,
Yeah.
and the revenue received is $639, is the difference, is that amount that's uncollected or reflected in accounts receivable, or what is the
So
difference?
most of it is your contractual allowances, so
Okay,
most of our patients are Medicare.
I see.
Medicare has a set rate they pay for ambulance trips.
So a lot of the difference is what they'll allow payment on.
Yeah, so like if you get the thing from the doctor that says charge was sometimes, and what was allowed and what we pay.
Then they can only pay revenue on.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that's where we get like, when we talk about increasing fees,
Right,
it doesn't do a whole lot of good because,
unless reimbursement changes.
yeah, Medicare has a set fee, Blue Cross has a set fee. The only ones that don't are like auto insurances, even, work comp, they don't have a set fee, they use this Fair Pay company or whatever, different companies do. So they don't even pay full price, so.
So somebody not using Medicare or something, bill average $1,071, if they're paying personally, that's what the bill would be, hopefully that will come in.
Yeah,
It's just on the reimbursements from Medicare.
yeah, so you didn't have insurance, health insurance, you have to pay full price.
Okay,
There, in some of that difference, there is some that aren't paying, but the majority of that
could be
difference
certain receivable.
is contractual allowance.
Thank you, that helps me understand it better, I wasn't quite sure.
Any questions for Adam? Thank you.
Off to Lake Island. Winter survivors. Winter survivors. 6th graders, yeah. At least I got out of the first hour.
I was gonna say, it sounds like fun.
I was hoping it was, it's got outside.
It's gonna be warmer today.
It's supposed to be last Friday. Okay, that's fine, last Friday, I had nothing going on. Then it was cold, I'm like, I tried to get out of it, I'm like, I got a board meeting. I'll just come out after. Thank you, guys, have a good weekend.
I don't see you.
You want me to text you the number?
What's that?
Text you the number. I'll text you the number. Oh.
Maybe we have drainage district. No, so he's, told him it'll be 46. Should I start by that?
I got this. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I have Okay, I will go down and check on those there.
Yeah, text me. Hey, Ben, Lori.
They said
Good.
two.
Good.
Nobody flew.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, see. All right, thank you. Well, that's okay. If you don't have to.
Because I think.
I gotta have a mind, it took me 2 days to figure it out. Got the second one, and it's just slept on a little bit last night.
Yeah, something's good.
Right.
First, I had it for 10 or 15 years, the fall, and first, cleared out the.
And I said, well, you're supposed to be able to swallow and breathe out at the same time, and I don't have it. I said, I ain't no alcoholic, I got that down.
I don't know what it was about it. Sarah, you would say something.
Okay.
Yeah, she wrote back.
It's usually a chiropractor.
Yeah, it's no.
No, I've been sick and I got something weird going
Okay,
on.
thank you.
Apparently I might retain too much iron in my system. It's killing me.
It would have been having that weed problems out in the pump station, you know, fucking stuff up.
Yeah.
I got a hold of a guy over, well, I called the Corps of Engineers, got his address. Called the guy over in Illinois, he come out and checked it out and stuff.
Really?
And I was just off the top of your head, I said, I ain't holding you, and that was going on. $100,000, I said, ain't too bad, $30,000 a bag. No, $100,000 a bag.
A bag?
A bag, it's big.
Oh, goodness.
And I said, he said, well, the state's got money that'll help you with all. I even did after, but I still think too much.
Holy
And
cow.
it's really not feasible to do it after you got over. You got a carp, you got a stuff. Run 3 buses, so I fill it out, so the carp, I get nothing, the rest of it on the floor. I think we'll stay like we are. I'll run through the system.
Duckweed?
Duckweed, algae, and there's a couple of other ones in there. Coon stale. Okay, coon stale's the worst, it's kind of ropey type stuff.
Well, those are big pumps, you couldn't hardly grind it up first.
No, and somebody said, well, take the grates off. I said, well, you take the grates off, the plug run that pumps will let that pull out. Anyhow, it cost about $2,500 to $3,000 for keeping clear last year, which is cheap.
I know, right?
You go to spend that kind of money. First time we got sampled up in that stuff, $30,000.
We're all gonna die. It's like Stephen King's stand.
Yeah. Year ago, Labor Day.
And all that time before that, you had.
Well, it got a lot of rain. I mean, we bought raincoats to work down there. And I thought, we started that, we started pretty good. We had 7 feet of water today.
Oh, I didn't wash my hands.
We had to put a fence across the inlet, kind of hold it back. And we pretty much lost the fence. It was- So I added more cables to the older fence. And we was actually sucking water down to the older fence because water wasn't getting through.
That's my wall.
We use a plow, as I was remembering, and that's the actual post it. They sat down for 3 weeks. We had 3 backhoes, one time down here, one on 50,000 weeks, one on each side, did their own fence. The initial surge, I think, was gonna take care of the national now.
That's so black.
These guys, been spraying.
There was no facts.
Okay.
I know I'm gonna have a bad
Just call me
day when I
when
walk out,
it's
when I walk out of the house without my gear.
Did Luke come up with it?
I haven't got a car yet.
I wasn't even.
Oh, I drove today.
All my cars are out. You might have to.
Heading that way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe I will go down because I don't think they can. Yeah, they do.
I don't have muscles there. They just say stuff.
Okay, still don't figure out quite what's wrong with me, but I know, I have to go back to
I just wanted,
a hematologist. Okay. Too much iron.
Is that what you're gonna extract from usually?
Yeah, apparently once they just, like, all I have is go to that blood work. Which I don't think we can like.
Well, that is office number.
Too much iron, but
That's his office number.
apparently bloodletting is still a thing. I hope that's what it is, but I can barely get my back. I can barely get these things out here.
Year old.
Year old.
I might have to-
Where's the helmet? shake.
He makes me mind.
You have to wear the helmet.
Now I'm just gonna wait to get this to go back to
Oh.
Dr.
How about that?
Dunn.
We don't have grandkids.
I asked the kid,
I like
I asked, at daycare, I said, what do the kids think of that? So they all touch it, they all want
He gets my finger.
it. It gives like 23 hours a day.
MRI.
I got such last one.
I know, it's just really beautiful down there.
Fell, she had been around and back then, she had quarters of that, skin engineer.
Terrible. You need to live right on Bruce.
I know. Somebody fix this up.
That needle is great.
You're right.
I have this
That
bottle
would be
of
a mess.
juice.
That we'd have to throw away.
I have this bottle of juice that I can never get to live on right. Like it's a, like, what is that, Red Sybil or something?
Yeah. Some of them screw on better than others.
I don't know, the automobile warranty.
Your 4-minute pump.
I know how I like it.
They did a thing one time, they said, if you don't want us to contact me, I'll press two. I pressed two, the next day I got a call again.
your outfit. I had them on to go into the site.
3 days.
So I get a live one.
Yeah.
28 now.
Practice on it.
I like those sports ones.
Wow.
They're 9 by 3. 45 minutes.
Yeah.
47 tomorrow and 50 on Sunday and snow on Sunday.
Yeah, I can't wait
Yeah.
for all.
I had a, my son, my daughter's got a heart and stroke issue. And then I come up there, I said, well, what are you selling?
But- I'll stand there.
Well, we gotta talk about it. I said, hey, listen,
But.
I said, you wait till everybody gets 80 or older, then you come around and try and get the last guy.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's like those, things on TV.
Where are you at?
Sell insurance,
Wake up.
but you have to
No,
have
no, no,
a-
no, no, why?
You should get something.
It's north.
I have a license there, so this is way back, $100,000. Well, I figured that, you just, the guy there.
I made him go to that place with the
But when she
decorators.
started with. Besides that,
My favorite, the one
first thing she was
Do what? Oh, yeah.
And I said, I kinda like to see your sister a little bit. He said, you're serious too, ain't you? I said, "I think I am."
I didn't know if there was a,
She's taking them.
20
I
hours.
like to have-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's too late.
Good morning.
I am the semi-driver, so you.
Well,
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
he's still in the 17.
Great.
Isn't he? Like the standard name, your size is 17.
Are you supposed to play the wing back, are you?
I was saying,
He's still scraping the top of the.
Just keep our, you know, and figure out what's all going on with this, so.
Yep.
You know, used to.
I've got those in my. That's okay.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Great.
How are you?
Good.
Keep it warm.
I started it was so bad that I couldn't back up.
I got it. Was it about this time of year, though?
It was like that.
I found out what was wrong.
Yeah, I think it was.
My
Yeah.
daughter's got that.
That was,
And
very
so I
thankful
think
we don't have
all
that.
that
That was
I think it's why.
Yeah.
a time, and
That
I
was
was terrible, and I had and so,
No, so you get slowed down after that unless you're not.
well, I'm
I'm
paying,
so excited
paying
for
for
it.
I mean, I haven't got her on now.
I just get unlimited. I can't run my iPad and watch TV at the same time, so. Right. Or my iPhone for that matter now. Surprised I can get movies.
You know,
Like I said,
I would think like if my internet always comes up, or the Wi-Fi always comes up, it's okay, it's the internet I have a problem. That's too bad, our place, I rode them on the road on the. I just kinda knew.
Well, when
what
my,
that long ago,
when it
so-
started saying on everything that it hadn't been backed up for 2 weeks, I thought there was something wrong.
Mine hasn't backed up since September.
So, the telephone company came and put a new modem.
Oh, this is
Well, yeah.
I did that once, and they were like, well, you might not need a new modem, I'm like, this thing's like 12 years old. Oh, okay, well, yeah.
Good morning.
But that was.
Warming up.
So maybe it is my.
A lot warmer, south than water.
Interesting.
I don't know why, but it's like way warmer than miles west of here. About 10 degrees.
Well, I think it's coming.
Had a buddy when I was
Oh,
in South Carolina, very nice. Trying to get hold of him, he got.
How's it going?
Can you talk to him for 6 seconds?
Huh?
I called him back one day. and-
Well, the church and a half to order both.
Nice chair.
Vice chair, the chair's gone.
Vice chair.
You thought he was sitting there, didn't you?
He got my phone number.
John should have got something from a town unit to fill out related to the stormwater discharge permit.
By email or?
By email.
Not that I'm aware of, but I can, are you texting them last night?
I didn't.
They were doing a lot of that.
Somebody needs to get a hold of him, that needs to be, he needs to go online and complete that. It has to be done ASAP. He'd have got that by email from the Newman, wouldn't he? I would assume.
Actually, DNR should have sent it to him.
Yeah, even the DNR.
It's a stormwater pollution, permit, from the DNR issues, so. That'd be possible, well, before construction starts, yes. We already paid for it, once it's done online, it would, a day or so, it'd be finalized, so it happens real quick, it's better online.
We're ready for construction yet this afternoon.
No, we gotta get a few bonds, we're gonna want a little time to review the bids. We probably won't announce the successful bidder until like Monday,
Sooner rather than
so
later.
we will open them and note them today. Yeah, we wanna get them going as soon as we can.
open them, review them, and the next week we approve them.
They'll get back to me and then
I'd like to be able to look at the bids, compare them, and then we have some questions about it with the bidders, to get those questions answered so that we're good to go, and then we would come back to Lou and you folks and make our recommendation.
I'm sure it was different. Or the bidder had bids that different.
yeah. I would think what we could do today is, they don't meet until Friday, but I think we could have a motion to authorize you and I to review them, make a recommendation to them, and go ahead, and then we can finalize the next recommendation.
Well, if we can just award it, Monday or something,
Yeah.
after we review them,
You and I review.
then we can get the contracts and bonds to that, whoever's awarded to, and then they can come back to us.
public hearing.
I'm trying to get a hold of him today.
I sent him a text.
Okay.
He's at the mental health board meeting, so.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it.
See, that'll help you.
I hope it'll do some good.
It's gotten really complicated, the whole mental health thing.
I know.
He says he did not. You know,
He has not received anything from the DNR.
I asked if he received a stormwater pollution permit from the DNR email.
He said no.
He said no.
I'll find out.
Find out, yeah.
You know who the email might have been?
I don't know.
Chris. Come pick up here. You can talk. Okay.
There's a,
Can they still turn a bid in?
She just told you at 9 o'clock.
it probably won't be accepted, but, or not your own
You
time.
said that.
I have another one. Yeah.
We'll have to know that we got it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how many times reading. In the evening, but yeah, she'll be ready for school. The next morning. Because, yeah.
I know. That's my life, I didn't think we're over there, so it's drinking before she did.
Usually, I.
Or she was talking about that. You did. Yes. Oh, man.
You do last night.
Just say it's on hold.
Worry about me.
You
got three.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, you know that.
Yeah.
Is that you, Mom?
Did you buy anything? Did you get one that you got her?
So, I'm writing this.
He's tired there. That's after I remember Barnes and Arenas. Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'm curious, like, my
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably. I used to go to them.
He's gonna let get back to bed. I don't know.
Yeah. They're gonna take it this one, really take
Went to the Texas Roadhouse on my son's birthday. So the chicken fried steak, so stupid, that chicken fried. They wanted to take it back. More able to.
We're gonna note that we see who they're from and the amount of the bid. First thing we've got to do is approve the proposal, contract, plans and specifications. We have a public hearing on that before. Ask whether or not there's anybody here to speak on that or have any objections to it. Yeah, well, when we get there, you just kind of, let your mouth speak to the
John, so.
It is from the phone.
There, one in the other room.
Yeah, oh, we can tell him it's a battery.
I think we replaced that several times, but I think maybe it's your clock. Is he?
Tom Newman.
Okay.
He emailed it to Lou and John.
Okay.
I just called him and asked him to do that again.
Okay.
And there's a link in there. So if it would have come from Tom, from our office, but there's a link in there for the DNR. You have to read through.
Okay.
Probably got it right. Okay, it's 10:30. Is there a motion to go into drainage district?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are into drainage district.
I move to open a public hearing of plan specifications of proposed form of contract for 2020 flood control levy agreement.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Public hearing clause.
Anybody have any comments they wish to make, any objections to the proposed form of contract, finding specification?
I have a question. What are they gonna do with the water after they collect it on this side of the levee?
What do you mean, what are they gonna do with it?
I mean, where's it gonna, how are they gonna pump it out? Are they gonna put new pump stations in it? Or are they just gonna let it collect and saturate us?
It's not, expected to be a large amount of water, and it's just gonna come to the surface. So it's not gonna be piped, it's not gonna be pumped.
So when it comes to the surface, what are you gonna do with it? Just leave it there to collect mosquitoes and stuff, or?
Well, it's not going to be a large amount of water, it's not just a large amount of water, but it will just sit there in the sand trench.
What if it is a large amount?
So that's not what the calculations indicate.
What if it is, then we gotta do another project to get rid of it then?
So I guess you can play the what if thing for a lot of things, but from all the calculations that the geotechnical folks have done, there's not going to be a large amount of water.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
But eventually, you have to, the whole area around the levee is quite flat, so it's not gonna drain. It doesn't drain real well. But if it was that much water, then it would go to pump stations.
And how's it gonna get there? That's the problem.
Over the surface.
I mean, okay, how's it gonna go over the roads that are higher? I mean, that's the trouble is, when you inundate this other part of town, it's like a couple miles to get to the pump station. That's the problem we have.
Yeah, and calculations don't indicate that anything near a large amount of water that would accumulate.
Okay, so if we don't have a large amount of water coming through there, why are we even doing it then?
It's to relieve the pressure.
Right, but when you relieve pressure, it's gonna relieve, it's gotta come up someplace.
Yes, but it's still not expected to be a large amount of water.
Okay. I just had one other question, and this might be for open forum. Does the county have flood insurance on your buildings here? Because it seemed like when I went to that meeting up there at the school, that was all that FEMA was interested in was selling flood insurance to everybody, because if you bought it at that time, you got it at a cheaper rate than if you waited till they've done the project. So I just wondered if you guys had it on our property in town here.
You know,
I can't imagine FEMA hasn't required that yet.
don't take on these deals.
Yeah,
No, they don't have the authority to do that yet.
well, you got a mortgage, I mean, I guess we don't have a mortgage, we have bonds on it though, but that's the same,
FEMA can't require anybody to purchase insurance from their present time.
Okay.
Even themselves. Your banker may, if he makes a loan, that's up to the banker. Anything else? If not, you can make a motion and vote on approving the plan specifications and proposed form of contract for the 2020 flood control levy improvement.
Is there a motion for such?
Yes.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have approved public hearing on plans.
The next issue is the bidding and opening the bids. We had 2 bids that were received. Our notice to bidders clearly provided that all bids were to be submitted by 9 o'clock a.m. this morning. Our brochure, or whatever you want to call it, containing the contracts, the notices, clearly provides that no late bids will be accepted. We received a bid at, I believe this is the time we received it, Jessica, at 10 a.m. this morning from Dave Smith Construction Company, Inc. We also received a bid, at least I'm assuming these are bids, from Brian Miller Excavating at 10:20 a.m. this morning. We would sure like to open them and look at them, but I think we'd be opening a big can of worms if we accepted them. Everything that we gave to the bidders clearly stated that the bids had to be here by 9 a.m.
I believe we're obligated to abide by our.
Well, I think we are. I can see all kinds of potential litigation and somebody that didn't get it, that if one of these late bids were acted upon or accepted. So I would recommend as your attorney that the 2 late bids received from Dave Smith Construction and Brian Miller Excavating not be accepted, and they be returned to them on open.
You need a motion to have that done?
I think so.
I would move to return late bids and open.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Moving to show, unable bids. Delivered.
Now we can go ahead and open the business we have.
Want to open the meeting on this one?
Undo that bell, I can open it for you. We have a bid from Peterson Contractors, Inc. It is accompanied by a bid bond issued by Travelers Casualty Insurance Company of America in the amount of 5% of the bid. The total amount of the bid from Peterson Contractors Inc. is $1,349,816.50. It looks like it's appropriate filled out and executed.
What was the engineer's estimate?
It was $1,086,000.50.
You get that?
That 50 cents seems to be hanging around.
I'll have to see why that's there. I don't know, they must have had something to do with, in a one.
The other bid that we have is from Elder Corporation. They have a bid bond as required in the amount of 5%. And it is from Merchants Bonding Company from Des Moines. It appears to be an appropriate one. It appears to be appropriately filled out and signed. The amount of the bid is $1,060,000 and no cent. That is fairly close, almost,
Yeah,
to the dollar on what our engineers, Clausen Engineering, estimated the cost of the improvement to be. We would like to time Bill Clausen from Clausen Engineering and myself to review the bids, be sure that there's nothing that looks like it's out of whack. And then we would like to set a time next Friday to come back and recommend which bid you accept. You're not
Ten
gonna,
thirty work for you?
you're not gonna be in here before Friday, are you? Next Friday. Anything? Pardon me,
Would 10:30 work for you?
I'll make it work.
At least you think it needs to be dealt with before Friday, then we can come in.
Well, that would be good. We really want to get them going. Could you set some time on Monday or Tuesday that we can do it?
Maybe reviewing it Monday.
Pardon me, Bill and I will review them and we'll be able to make a recommendation by Monday. But we need to have a board meeting to have to make the final award.
I'm busy Tuesday morning.
How about Monday?
I'm free.
All I need is 3 of you. That works, right?
Thank you, John. I can't be here.
How about you, Bruce?
Monday morning, we have the,
That's just till 8:30 though, so
this, I was thinking we could come in after that.
I'm free after 9.
Yeah.
Like 9,
Sure.
9:30, 9 o'clock, which,
One more.
Yeah, no, 9's fine.
okay, 9 o'clock. Put that on the agenda if you would, just to go for 9 AM, Monday, whatever date that is. And it would be, on the agenda, show that it's a meeting to, award the bid on the levy improvement project.
Don't let John know.
And John, we need to find out when you do, when you can, just, you need to go online, he needs to go online and fill that out.
Yeah, he said he still has not received that email yet, but I will check with him again.
Okay.
Get that now. We need to
table it, or just no action statement?
There's no action. We just, all we had to do today was open the bid and set a time to, award it. And that's what, you could make a motion that we meet on Monday at 10 o'clock to, make the award of the bid for the project.
I don't know how we're doing it, but we can
I
do
said,
that.
I said 9 earlier. I said 9.
9 o'clock, I'm sorry.
Have a motion, all in favor of meeting at 9 on Monday, to approve the bids, say aye.
Aye.
Those who sign.
Bill, is there anything else you want?
No, I think the bids are there.
Is that it, yes, and then-
I talked to Tom Noonan and he had originally sent it to you, a copy to John. And on there, there's a link to the DNR website. And so I just had him send them to you and John and me again.
Okay,
So,
well, John's the one that needs to get it, obviously.
but if you don't get it, or he doesn't get it by
There will be.
right now.
Even if he need to be here Monday, but, if he doesn't have that, like sometime this morning, that John needs to know it.
I asked him to let me know when he did get it.
All right.
Okay. And John, and Tom's in the office and he can go walking through it if he's got any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can adjourn.
Motion to evaluate sector.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that way now.
Aye. Same sign. We are out of turns this way.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like, doesn't matter, but I can do promise. Good sign.
I think I can use my phone. Look, that sucked my battery down. I like just recorded that short thing. And it sucked my battery down by like 20%. Oh, more than that. 30%. I just need to use that. I could go shot. I mean, I even cleared out my open stuff. I'm not sure.
Mine's dropping.
It's a success.
Oh.
Well, I would say that the engineer did a good job. Estimating.
$126.
That one, the first one was 300,000, right?
Yeah, it was
1,300,000?
349,000.
816.
300, or
It's almost
And
one.
50.
1,350,000. $1,349,816.50.
I couldn't get the last, it was like, did they say 15 or?
You know, when you deal with $1 million, you think, I get rounded.
Yeah, we round up.
Yeah,
There's a dollar.
that 50 cents is really,
It was my make or break, and
Yeah.
by the state, I suppose.
Maybe we can negotiate that 50 cents
But
now.
if somebody-
maybe he wanted to go up, but thought that somebody would only, I get.
Yeah, but not 50 cents. Somebody else is a bid at 50 cents.
Get the bid by 50 cents, then. Well, the engineers bid at 50 cents in it too, so who knows? I've never understood engineers.
You take off the 50 cents, you have to the scope of work.
And my engineer didn't understand things, so it was mutual.
I said engineers, accountants, they're just,
Yeah.
they have their own.
Rules. Yeah. It's okay, I don't mind that.
And he's cut it down.
Most of them I dealt with that I was saying were so arrogant.
That's why we got the University of Iowa here.
Yeah. And then, like, they would use, they're like, I can't draw, but you draw my, like, my boyfriend's friends, or your boyfriend's times friends. You're like, I'll pay you to draw my airplane. Like, you're gonna be an aerospace engineer, and you can't draw an airplane? Like, come on.
Now they do it on the computer, yeah.
Yeah, I know. We were just in that cusp of Like, I have a friend who was in graphic design and they never taught her how to use a computer for it, so she got screwed immediately after graduation.
Everybody uses a computer right away after that.
Yeah, it was like immediate, she got so boned.
Did you ever find a job?
Not really.